Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, calm ocean. The waves are gentle, and the sun sets in golden hues, painting the sky with tranquility. Now picture a sudden storm, waves crashing, thunder roaring, and winds howling. In life, emotions can surge like that storm, tempting us to speak out in anger, frustration, or fear. But what if I told you that true power lies in silence? Silence can be stronger than the loudest words, more impactful than the most heated argument. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a master of Stoicism, understood this well. He knew that in certain situations, saying nothing is not just wise, it's transformative. Today, we're diving into 9 powerful moments when silence is your greatest weapon, your strongest ally. Stay with me, and you'll discover the secret to mastering your emotions and leading a life of inner peace. Marcus Aurelius was a man of great wisdom, a philosopher king who ruled Rome with both strength and compassion. His teachings on Stoicism, a philosophy focused on self-control, inner peace, and resilience, have guided countless individuals through life's toughest challenges. One of his most profound lessons is the power of silence. Knowing when to speak and when to stay silent is a skill that can change your life. In this video, we'll explore 9 situations where silence speaks louder than words. By the end, you'll have a new tool to navigate the complexities of life with grace and wisdom. 1. When you are angry. Anger is a powerful emotion that can overwhelm us in seconds, pushing us to say things we might regret later. Marcus Aurelius believed that in moments of anger, silence is the best response. Why? Because anger clouds our judgment, making us act impulsively. When we speak out of anger, our words can hurt others and damage relationships. But when we choose silence, we give ourselves a moment to breathe, to think, and to regain control. Imagine you're upset with a friend. Your first instinct might be to lash out, to tell them exactly how you feel. But what if instead you took a deep breath and said nothing? What if you allowed the wave of anger to pass before responding? In that silence, you might find clarity. You might realize that your anger was misplaced, or that the issue isn't as big as it seemed. By staying silent, you avoid saying something hurtful, and you give yourself the chance to respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" By practicing silence in moments of anger, you protect yourself from these consequences. You save your energy for constructive conversations rather than destructive arguments. Silence becomes your shield, your way of maintaining peace, both within yourself and in your relationships. 2. When you don't have all the facts. In today's world, it's easy to jump to conclusions. We hear a snippet of a story, see a post on social media, or catch a rumor, and suddenly we're experts on the situation. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us that wisdom lies in acknowledging what we don't know. Speaking out without all the facts can lead to misunderstandings, false accusations, and unnecessary conflict. Think about the last time you reacted to a situation without knowing the full story. Maybe you criticized someone based on a rumor, only to find out later that the rumor was false. Or perhaps you gave advice on a topic you didn't fully understand, and it ended up backfiring. These moments teach us the importance of silence. When you choose silence, you give yourself time to gather information. You avoid spreading misinformation and contributing to confusion. Instead, you listen, observe, and wait until you're sure of the facts before you speak. This patience can save you from embarrassment, protect your relationships, and earn you the respect of others. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us to be cautious with our words, especially when we lack knowledge. He understood that silence, in these moments, is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It shows that you value truth over gossip, understanding over judgment. By practicing silence, you cultivate wisdom, allowing you to speak only when your words can add value to the conversation. 3. When others are talking about you. Gossip is a part of human nature. People talk, and sometimes they talk about us, often without knowing the full story. It's tempting to defend ourselves, to correct the narrative, or to confront those who spread rumors. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us that silence is often the best response to gossip. When others are talking about you, staying silent can be incredibly powerful. Why? Because it shows that you are not bothered by their words. Silence signals confidence, self-assurance, and inner peace. It tells the world that you are secure in who you are, and you don't need to seek validation from others. Imagine hearing that someone has been spreading false rumors about you. The natural reaction might be to confront them, to clear your name. But what if, instead, you chose to remain silent? By doing so, you rise above the pettiness. You demonstrate that their words hold no power over you. Often, the gossip fades away on its own when it's met with silence, because there's no fuel to keep the fire burning. Marcus Aurelius believed in focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we can't. We can't control what others say about us, but we can control how we respond. By choosing silence, we protect our peace of mind and avoid getting dragged into unnecessary drama. We maintain our dignity and show others that our self-worth is not dependent on their opinions. 4. When you're being criticized unfairly. Criticism is never easy to handle, especially when it feels unjust. Our instinct might be to defend ourselves, to argue, or to prove the other person wrong. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us that in the face of unfair criticism, silence can be the most powerful response. Why should you stay silent when someone criticizes you unfairly? Because silence shows that you are not shaken by their words. It demonstrates maturity, resilience, and self-confidence. When you remain silent, you refuse to engage in a battle that can only escalate into more negativity. Think about a time when you were criticized unfairly. Perhaps a co-worker blamed you for something that wasn't your fault, or a friend made a hurtful comment. In that moment, you might have felt the urge to explain yourself or to fight back. But what if instead you simply said nothing? By staying silent, you take the high road. You show that you are above the pettiness and that your self-worth isn't tied to others' opinions. Marcus Aurelius believed that our reaction to criticism is more important than the criticism itself. He taught that silence in the face of unjust criticism is a sign of inner strength. It shows that you are confident in your own truth and that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. By choosing silence, you protect your peace of mind and allow the criticism to pass without affecting you. 5. When someone is venting. We all have moments when we need to vent, to let out our frustrations, fears, or anxieties. When someone else is venting, our instinct might be to offer solutions, give advice, or share our own experiences. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us that sometimes the best thing we can do is to simply stay silent and listen. When someone is venting, they're not always looking for answers. Often, they just need to be heard. By staying silent, you offer them the space to express their emotions without interruption. Your silence becomes a gift, a way of saying, "I'm here for you, and I'm listening." Think about a time when you were upset and needed to talk to someone. How did it feel when the person you were talking to interrupted with advice or tried to steer the conversation back to themselves? It probably wasn't what you needed at that moment. Now, imagine how different it would have felt if they had just listened, if they had allowed you to speak without interruption. Marcus Aurelius understood the power of silence in these moments. He knew that by staying silent and listening, we offer support that words cannot. We show empathy, understanding, and respect for the other person's feelings. Silence allows the person venting to find their own clarity, to process their emotions in their own way. By practicing silence when someone is venting, you strengthen your relationships and show that you care. You become a source of comfort and support simply by being present and listening. 6. When you don't want to make a promise. You can't keep promises are powerful. They build trust and strengthen relationships. But when a promise is broken, it can cause deep hurt and damage. That's why Marcus Aurelius teaches us to be cautious with our words, especially when it comes to making promises. Sometimes the wisest choice is to remain silent. Imagine someone asking you to commit to something, a project, a favor, or a responsibility. You might feel pressured to say yes, even if you're not sure you can follow through. But what if, instead of making a promise you're not sure you can keep, you chose silence? This doesn't mean you ignore the request. It means you take a moment to think before responding. By staying silent, you avoid making a hasty commitment that you might later regret. Silence in these moments shows that you value integrity. It tells others that you take your commitment seriously and that you won't make promises lightly. This builds trust, because people know that when you do give your word, you mean it. Marcus Aurelius believed that our word is our bond. He taught that it's better to say nothing than to make a promise you can't keep. Silence allows you to consider the request carefully, to weigh your ability to fulfill it before you commit. This not only protects your reputation, but also prevents the disappointment and frustration that can come from broken promises. By practicing silence when asked to make a commitment, you show respect for yourself and others. You demonstrate that you are thoughtful, responsible, and trustworthy, a person who can be counted on. 7. When you're unsure of your feelings, emotions can be complex, and sometimes we're not entirely sure what we're feeling. In these moments, it's tempting to speak out, to express our emotions even when they're not fully understood. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us that silence can be a powerful tool when we're unsure of our feelings. Why should you stay silent when you're uncertain about your emotions? Because silence gives you the space to reflect, to understand what you're truly feeling before you express it. Speaking out too soon can lead to confusion, misunderstandings, and even regret. Imagine you're feeling upset about something, but you're not sure why. You might be tempted to vent your frustrations to someone else, hoping that talking it out will help. But what if, instead, you took a moment of silence? What if you allowed yourself the time to sit with your feelings, to explore them on your own? In that silence, you might find clarity. You might realize that your emotions are more complex than you first thought, or that they're tied to something deeper. Marcus Aurelius understood the value of introspection. He believed that silence allows us to connect with our inner selves, to understand our emotions on a deeper level. By staying silent when you're unsure of your feelings, you give yourself the opportunity to process them fully. This not only helps you understand yourself better, but also prevents you from saying something you might later regret. Silence in these moments is a form of self-care. It's a way of honoring your emotions, of giving yourself the time and space to understand them fully before sharing them with others. 8. When you're waiting for the right moment. Timing is everything. Sometimes the most important thing you can do is wait for the right moment to speak. Marcus Aurelius understood that patience and silence often go hand in hand, especially when it comes to making important decisions or having difficult conversations. Imagine you're in a meeting and you have something important to say. You might feel the urge to speak up immediately, to share your thoughts before anyone else does. But what if, instead, you chose to wait? What if you allowed the conversation to unfold, listening to others before you made your point? By practicing silence, you give yourself the opportunity to gather more information, to understand the perspectives of others, and to choose your words carefully. Marcus Aurelius believed that silence is a form of wisdom. It shows that you are patient, thoughtful, and considerate of others. When you wait for the right moment to speak, your words carry more weight. People are more likely to listen because they know that you've taken the time to think before you speak. Silence also allows you to avoid unnecessary conflict. By waiting for the right moment, you can choose your words more carefully, avoiding misunderstandings or hurt feelings. You can also gauge the mood of the room, ensuring that your message is received in the way you intend. By practicing silence when you're waiting for the right moment, You show that you are in control of your emotions and your words. You demonstrate that you value thoughtfulness and respect, both for yourself and for others. 9. When you're reflecting on your actions. Reflection is a key part of personal growth. Marcus Aurelius, known for his practice of journaling and introspection, understood the importance of taking time to reflect on our actions. In moments of reflection, silence is essential. Why should you stay silent when reflecting on your actions? Because silence creates the space you need to think deeply, to understand the consequences of your actions, and to learn from them. Speaking too soon can disrupt this process, preventing you from gaining the insights that come from quiet contemplation. Imagine you've had a challenging day and you're feeling overwhelmed. Your instinct might be to talk it out with someone, to get their perspective. But what if instead you chose to sit in silence? What if you allowed yourself the time to reflect on your day, to think about what went well and what didn't? In that silence, you might discover something important about yourself, an insight that you wouldn't have found if you had rushed to speak. Marcus Aurelius believed that reflection is a vital part of the Stoic path. He encouraged us to take time each day to reflect on our actions, to learn from our mistakes, and to grow from our experiences. Silence in these moments is not just about being quiet, it's about creating a space for personal growth. By practicing silence when reflecting on your actions, you give yourself the gift of self-awareness. You allow yourself to learn from your experiences, to grow as a person, and to become more in tune with your true self. If silence is your power, type "silence is strength" in the comments, and I'll reply with a heart. If you found value in this message, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's spread the wisdom of Stoicism together.